All right, what's going on, guys? So far, this NBA season has been pretty entertaining, I would say. I feel like pretty much every night I'll be able to turn on my TV and either watch the Pistons if I want to watch them, if they're playing, or there's a nationally televised game that intrigues me and I might throw on in the background. But as I'm watching these games more and more, I'm realizing there's a pretty big issue that I'm having with a lot of these games that I'm watching. And it's gotten to the point that I feel like if this doesn't get fixed, it's gonna be a pretty big issue throughout this entire season and possibly through the future of the league. And that issue is the amount of fouls that are being called every game. Now, I know that foul baiting and playing to try and just get shooting fouls and shoot free throws is a big hot button topic in the NBA. You have players like SGA and Jalen Brunson that are ridiculed all over social media constantly about their flopping or their foul baiting. But I am purely looking at this in a completely unbiased and neutral position, where I'm not going to focus on certain players and I'm not going to focus on certain teams, because I think the issue is bigger than just a couple players or a couple teams. I think it's a league-wide issue that needs to start being looked at. But before we get further into the video, if you guys enjoy this type of content, please drop a like on this video. And if you guys want to see more content like this, I do all things NBA. Make sure to hit the subscribe button down below so that you never miss an upload from me. So it's no question that fouls have been a hot button issue in the NBA in the last couple years. There's been a lot of discourse on social media about certain players getting preferential calls or foul baiting, which is basically just going out there and trying to get fouled every time to go to the free throw line. But what people aren't looking at is that free throws attempted is up over the entire league substantially this year. Right now, the league is up to 26 free throws attempted per game on average. That is up way higher than the last 2 years, where it sat around 21 free throws attempted per game. Not to mention that the free throws per field goal attempted statistic is also way up. So there's 0.23 free throws being shot for every field goal attempted, whereas in the last couple seasons, it was below 0.2. So if you're not really into statistics like that, just know from what I just said is that on average, a ton more free throws are being shot per game on average. And it's not just because more field goals are being attempted than the last couple years, because the rate of free throws per field goal attempted is way higher as well. So a big talking point in the first week of the season was how many 40 and 50 point games that we've seen this year. Because in the first week of action, we saw 16 40 and 50 point games, which was an amount that we've never seen before. I think with the start of the season, we were on pace for like 340 plus point games this year, which would have absolutely blown last year's record out of the water of like 200 some. And if you look at data, you'll see that the amount of 40 and 50 point games per season has increased substantially over the last 5 or 10 years. And I think the reason why we're seeing this crazy uptick in scoring is because a lot of these games, not all of them, are inflated with how many free throws these players are shooting per game. I mean, during Shea's game against the Pacers, where he scored 55, he took 26 free throws and made 23. In Luka's 49-point game against the Timberwolves, he shot 19 free throws and made 16 of them. Cam Thomas scored 40 this year off 14 of 14 from the free throw line. That same night, Jaylen Brown scored 40 and shot 15 free throws. And then that same night, Giannis scored 40 and shot 16 free throws. And then that same night, Austin Reaves scored 50 and shot 22 free throws. And so I know I said I'm not going to focus on certain players, but I just wanted to point out that one of the reasons why we're seeing so many scoring outbursts is because of the frequency that refs are calling fouls in games. To put it into perspective, some of these games we're seeing these individual players shooting 22 free throws, 26 free throws. The average free throws attempted per game last year was 21 as a team. These individual players are taking more free throws in a game than an entire team on average was last year. So I just used that example to kind of show what I'm seeing in a night in and night out basis. But it's not an individual player problem. It is a league problem. It is a referee problem. A lot of those games are outliers. Like Austin Reaves or SGA are not shooting 25 free throws per game on a night in and night out basis. But what I've been noticing is teams are shooting way too many free throws per game. It seems like there's certain games where these refs are blowing the whistle when somebody breathes on somebody else. The long anticipated NBA Finals rematch against the Pacers and the Thunder, one of the first nights of NBA action that we had, there was a total of 91 free throws shot in that game. 51 for the Thunder and 40 for the Pacers. The next night, I watched the Pistons play the Rockets, and the Rockets shot 48 free throws for the night, and the Pistons shot 23. That same night, the Cavs played the Nets, and the Cavs shot 35 free throws. If I go on StatMuse and just look up the top team free throw attempts in a game so far this season, the Thunder at 51, like I said, then the Jazz at 49, the Rockets at 48, Lakers at 46, Lakers again at 44, Grizzlies at 43, Hawks at 42, Nuggets at 42, Spurs 40, Kings 40, Magic 40, Pacers 40. What is going on, dude? How in any world are teams shooting over 40 free throws a game? I don't care if the disparity is crazy. Like I said, Houston shot 48 free throws against the Pistons that night, and they lost. So I could have just been like, oh, well, who cares then? The Pistons won. In the Pistons' next game against the Celtics, we shot 36 free throws compared to the Celtics' 24. So the Pistons are sometimes benefiting from this issue. And so that's why I'm saying it's not a biased issue that I have. It's an entertainment issue. That Pistons game against the Rockets was 3.5 hours long because there was so much stoppage in play. It seemed like almost every 30 seconds a whistle was being blown and we were stopping play, we were taking side out, or we were shooting free throws. As a fan, I just can't enjoy a game like that. You can't get into the game and the game doesn't flow well and isn't fun to watch when every 30 seconds a whistle is being blown, everybody's standing up, everybody's catching their breath, we're shooting free throws or we're taking it side out. That is just not fun to watch. Same thing as that Pistons-Rockets game. I went to the Celtics-Pistons home opener that they had, and that game took 3 hours because there were so many free throws. There was so much stoppage in play. It is so frustrating to watch games where it seems like we can't resume play for longer than 15-30 seconds before the refs are blowing another whistle. It just seems like in these last couple years, the league rules have changed or something to where any sort of contact, even negligible contact, is a blown whistle and is a foul. The NBA even implemented a new rule this year called the high five rule, where if you're defending a jump shooter and they go up to shoot the ball and the defender's hand hits the shooter's hand, that is now considered a foul. Whereas it used to be if you were shooting and when you were up in the air, the defender made contact with your body and didn't allow you to properly land, that was a foul. Now you could be 2 feet away from somebody and get a hand up, and if your hand touches the shooter's hand, that is now a foul with no other contact anywhere else on the body. Now, I've only seen that call be made a couple of times so far this season, so like that's not an issue. It's not the reason why there's more fouls being called. It's just showing that the NBA is making more and more rules to make playing hard, good defense almost impossible at this point in the league. It just seems like on offense, you get so much more leeway when it comes to initiating contact or getting your body into defenders, where almost every single time the offensive player is going to get the benefit of the doubt if two players are making contact with each other. And I just don't think that is how the league should be played. I don't think that's how the game should be played. It's so frustrating to watch these hyper skilled offensive players be given the benefit of the doubt almost every single play, when I feel like most of the time it's just the defender playing hard defense. And that also goes with hard fouls and technicals. I want you guys to watch this clip. In this clip, Ausar Thompson moves his feet in front of Vince Williams, and Vince Williams draws the foul. Now, whether you think that was a blocking foul or not, that doesn't matter, but it's important what happens after the play. Ausar kind of sticks his arms out and accidentally grabs Vince Williams' wrist, and Vince Williams retaliates by pushing Ausar over. So after they got everybody back, after they made sure nothing else was going to happen, they went to the monitor, they assessed what happened, and guess who gets called for technicals? Wasn't just Vince Williams the only guy who shoved somebody. Ausar Thompson also got a technical foul. In what world is that a technical? Genuinely. It seems like you cannot do anything slightly physical in this league anymore without it being a flagrant or a technical. Now, I'm not advocating for like dudes to, go out and punch each other in the face out on the court like they used to, but like part of the entertainment of a basketball game is watching players play hard. And you just can't do that anymore. We talk about how the NBA has gotten soft and there's no rivalries and dudes don't hate each other anymore, because the NBA has bred this culture of if you do anything remotely physical, we're going to reprimand you for it, even if it was really no big problem. Ausar reaching his arms out and accidentally grabbing Vince Williams on the wrist, bro, who cares about that? How is that a technical? And it's not just that. I've seen so many just soft ass technicals being called in these last couple years in the NBA. Calls where you're like, what? You genuinely look at your TV in disbelief at what you just saw. I don't know how NBA reffing works, and I've never been an NBA ref. Obviously, I'm a dude who sits behind a screen and talks into a colorful microphone about what's on his mind. But I'm not sure if there's like a league-wide standard for refs where they all try and follow the same type of calls and try and call the game all the same exact way, or if every ref just kind of gets to make their own judgment on a lot of calls. But whatever it is, the NBA needs to sit these refs down and be like, guys, you need to let these guys play a little bit. As a fan of the league, and I want you guys who are listening to completely take out your favorite team biases out of the equation. If you're watching an NBA Finals game against two neutral teams, you don't care who wins, all you want is a good product, do you really want to sit there and watch one team shoot 50 free throws and another team shoot 40 free throws? By God, I hope you said no. And that's just what I'm noticing more and more about this league and about this season is almost every night of play, there are a handful of games where teams are shooting 30 plus, 40 plus free throws. Why is that happening? And I know it's becoming a big issue for me because it's getting to the point to where the product is so bad and so unentertaining when you have games like this, to where my favorite team in the entire world, a team that I've watched for my entire life, 24 years now, will win the game, and all I can think about is how horrible it was to watch that game. And so I just think the NBA needs to address this before it gets even worse, because it is really making the overall product of the game so horrible to watch. You need to let the players play. I'm not saying you need to go back to the 80s and 90s where they were straight up shoving each other out of the air, but a lot of these ticky-tack fouls with super negligible contact need to be let go, because there cannot be games night in and night out, week to week, where teams are shooting 40 plus free throws. It just makes it a horrible product to watch. But yeah, I mean, I think I said my piece. At this point, I feel like I'm just kind of rambling and repeating myself. So I think I'm going to wrap this one up. If you guys just enjoyed me kind of talking about what I'm feeling, make sure to hit the like button. And I just kind of want to see if other people feel this way. Please leave comments down in the comment section and let me know how you feel about this, whether you agree with me or whether you disagree, because I want to see if the general NBA fan base feels this same way. And again, if you enjoyed the video and if you want to see more content like this, please hit the subscribe button. I'd love to have you guys here. You know, I want to build a community that loves the NBA and wants to talk about anything about the NBA. I live and breathe this league, so it'd be great to have you guys stick around. And if you guys want to see a video that's kind of similar to this, where I just kind of rant about an issue that I have with the league, make sure to watch this video where I rant about the normalization of sports betting in the league right now and how it's not good and not healthy for the league and the fan base of the league. But yeah, that's all I got for today, guys. So with that being said, as always, peace and love.